13 nature preserves, accounting for over 5,000 acres set aside for public use in the Poconos. Hello everyone, I'm Don Jacobs and I'm in the heart of the Poconos. And we're gonna go wild with Discover NEPA, talking about setting areas aside as preserves. Who does it in the Poconos? The Pocono Heritage Land Trust. And you're gonna hear from Louise Troutman.
Pocono Heritage Land Trust is a land conservancy. So we make nature preserves. We take property and we set it aside from development permanently. And in most cases, we open it up to the public as a nature preserve, open dawn to dusk every day, free of charge to the public.
And how many have you preserved?
We just opened our 13th preserve.
So when you're talking about acres, how many acres?
Over 5,000. Our office is on the Forever Green Nature Preserve. It's in 𝗚𝗪, so it is a former golf course that's been turned into a nature preserve.
And a honeymoon resort right next to it.
Yeah, it was part of Penn Hills. It was the Penn Hills Golf Course. It was called the Evergreen Golf Course, and that's how the name became Forever Green. Today, we're at the Glen Run Nature Preserve. This is 180 acres. We are just on the ridge between South Stroudsburg and Cherry Valley.
And what project is happening here?
Today, we are building a bird blind.
Well, here's another 4 inches. How far are we? I don't know.
We received a donation to pay for the construction of 2 bird blinds on 2 different preserves. One is up in more the northern part of the county, and then this one is a little more over here in the southern part.
So a person can find this on your preserve and hang out, and hopefully birds will show up.
Definitely. So, you know, it's a bird blind, but it's also a wildlife blind. So it's just a place where you can go quietly, get behind it, and hopefully not spook whatever is out on the water or whatever you happen to see in the woods nearby.
You guys are all volunteers.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Congratulations.
Where's my union guy?
Yeah. So you must love your job because you're basically taking the beauty of nature and putting it aside forever.
I love the fact that I get to meet a lot of people that are just as passionate about the land as I am. And it's really nice to go for a walk on a piece of property with someone who's owned it for a lot of years. And then they go, you know, well, look at this tree over here. Do you see how this one grows here? I remember when we planted this one. Like it's really sweet sometimes, and it's very satisfying.
So how does it work? So somebody has a chunk of property. Do you approach them? Do they approach you?
Sometimes they approach us. Most of the time they approach us. Sometimes we approach them if it's a particular piece of property that we are aware of and we're interested in. Occasionally we'll get a township or municipality that approaches us and says, hey, there's this piece of property, you know, we think it should be protected. And we do the outreach from there, and hopefully the township helps protect it.
And mainly in the Poconos, as your name is.
Yeah, we're primarily Monroe County. We have about 780 acres in Lackawanna County.
So Louise, your newest preserve. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You had a ribbon cutting and everything, right?
We did. It's a crazy shape.
And it's the 𝗚𝗪 𝗪𝗍𝗓.
It is the Robert Mader Nature Preserve. So the 2 sisters that owned the property, Robert Mader was their uncle. He was young. He went to World War I. He was killed in action, and they grew up hearing about him, and they thought this would be a really nice way to honor him.
What I'm also noticing is you have a way of taking an area between housing developments, right, and plopping in a preserve. That seems to be how you do it.
This was a conscious decision by the 2 women that owned it because they grew up here. You know, they're 70s, 80s at this point, and they watched all of these housing developments happen. This all used to be fields. You know, they were here long before the bog was the Tannersville Cranberry Bog.
Right.
It was just the bog.
Yeah. And these people that live in these areas, they have to say, how cool is this? No more building. And plus we have basically our own hiking trail. We have public use area that's now in the middle of the community.
It's free every day, dawn to dusk. Come on in, take a walk, bring your dog. It's a nice piece of property. It's not, you know, some great big huge waterfall that's in there, but it's really pretty. It's a nice flat piece of property. So for the most part, the trails are not difficult. A little bit rocky yet, but hopefully we'll get those smoothed out.
So I learned something today. In the middle of the Poconos, you can go to a preserve just about anywhere. All you got to do is go to the Pocono Heritage Land Trust. And for this episode of Go Wild with Discover NEPA and all of the other episodes, you can go to DiscoverNEPA.com or you can subscribe on YouTube.